Just over 5 years ago, I filmed a review for parks here in the Tongass Rainforest at the Mendenhall Glacier. Well, not actually here at the glacier viewpoint just down the trail a little bit, but I wanted a different setting, you know? Now, I did it because, one, I wanted to thematically exploit my beautiful backyard, but two, I wanted to show my appreciation for a game that I deeply resonated with in doing what was probably the most ambitious review I'd done for the young channel at that point. And now, a far cry from 2019, we're talking about the upcoming release of Parks 2nd Edition. To say I was surprised and perhaps a bit skeptical about Keymaster announcing a new edition of their flagship game would be an understatement. Parks as a whole still feels modern, looks great, and is popular in the board game zeitgeist. However, upon cracking open the box, it was apparent this is far more than a cosmetic change. Sure, the essence of Parks remains. Each player has 2 hikers that jockey for space in a linear worker placement over randomized trail slots, getting points for taking photos or cashing in resources for park cards. The thematic disconnect between how exactly the resources trade for parks scattered throughout the US while you're out on a hiking trail has always been a bit iffy, but the abstraction is easily forgiven for just how tight and cohesive it feels. All of this is still true, but tip to toe, there's been a lot of massaging of the system. 3 rounds, each with a consistent number of randomized trail spots instead of 4 that grow longer throughout the game. Canteens are now tokens that can be activated 2 at a time with great strategic implications. Year cards are replaced with passions that upon completion during game can be changed to your choice of a passive benefit or year-end bonus. A single dice has been added, tied to a trail spot and a couple of rewards, adding an element of chance, and there's a bevy of different seasonal goals for each round, encouraging deviation from otherwise optimal play. My favorite little mechanical tidbits are the balancing changes, both great and small, from replacing the camera of the original with the new Shutterbug token, which allows you to take 2 different photos, paying for both rather than getting a 2-for-1 action, to the fact that in the OG parks, if you had both of your hikers on the trail and everyone else had made it to the trailhead, you could slow play, effectively taking turn after turn while everyone else just watched, only mandated to put a hiker to the very end once your other hiker made it there. Well, now in this new edition, there are benefits to playing slow and taking your time, but if you as a player are the last one with hikers in the trail, then both of your remaining actions have to be taking those hikers to the trail end. This both adds a propulsion and a momentum forward in the game, keeping up tension, and closes up an exploit that effectively allowed someone to take a bunch of extra turns beyond everyone else. All of these are more or less subtle advancements, trimming fat and making the experience more consistent, though adding some nice little gameplay hooks along the way. It's like designer Henry Audubon and publisher Keymaster wanted to take their flagship game and revisit it with more experienced eyes, and it pays off. Not in a way that makes the original feel more archaic, just one that justifies the endeavor. When it comes to cosmetics, though, this really comes down to a matter of preference. Of course, there's this sneaking suspicion that Keymaster wanted to step away from having license illustrations and whatever finances that entails, but 2nd Edition seems to be an effort from a studio that has really cultivated its identity in trying to get their biggest game to fit within it. Bold, bright, and elegant, it's stylistically apart from releases like Harvest and Fuego, but still has familiarity to both. And important for me, the illustrations continue to be on point because, you know, us Alaskans need to know that we're repped well. Tokens are changed too, in ways both great and small, from the hikers to the resources to the big old first player buffalo arrowhead. The animeeples are somehow even more gorgeously ornate, though admittedly our rattlesnake came out of the box with a snap tail, and the whole thing has a more rounded and less geometric vibe. Look, I've made no secret about Parks being one of my absolute faves over the years, and frankly, this new edition is just great. Stylistically, it's a little more cohesive, And while some of the mechanical changes, like the introduction of a dice or the fixed weather patterns, I could either take or leave, overall, they really amount to a net positive. I mean, heck, even solo, which was one of the more meh elements of the original that I touched on in our review, feels a lot more fluid in this revamped, much more focused system, which hopefully Eric will be able to take a much more dedicated look at later on in the channel. So all in all, as a Parks fan, I'm super happy with this release. I mean, if you already own the original, I don't think you need to rush out to upgrade, but if it's like one of your favorite games, then I definitely think that it's worth getting to the table, finding your way to it somehow to try, so you can consider if that's going to be worth it for you. But no matter how you slice it, Parks remains one of the best, most interesting linear worker placement and naturalist games out there, and I'm just thrilled that this is a beautiful update. And to celebrate this new release and our national parks, Keymaster Games has generously agreed to give away 3 copies to our viewers, supporting this channel in pretty much any way we see fit. So here's what we're going to do. Anyone who comments on this video and hopefully is also subscribed to this channel can make a comment about a park that means something to them and why. It could be a local park, a national park, some important place of heritage in your community or country. Put it in the comments, and then we'll pick 3 of those at random among everyone who replied following the conditions, and then make sure that Keymaster is sending them 3 copies of this new edition of Parks. And that's our review. And because I already asked you to put something in the comments, we'll leave it there and just say, thanks for watching, thanks for supporting, thanks for being such an awesome community. I've been Jack for the Cardboard Herald.